Hello again. Well, it seems that my little spoof shopping haul video proved a little more popular than I thought it would be, particularly with those who are a bit interested in model railways. And several of you have asked if I would do more because you'd like to see how my layout develops as it goes on. And I'll tell you right from the start, it ain't going to be professional, no bells and whistles and individual leaves of grass and things. I'm just going for aesthetics, just the look and the feel of it. I'm not dexterous enough to make all those fancy little bits, but I shall do my best. And also, people have said we'd like to see you unbox more of your locomotives and rolling stock. So here we go with another little video on that theme, which I've entitled "Fell Out of the Box." Now, does it refer to a loco falling out of the box? And the answer is most certainly no, it does not. And I will explain why. Those of you who are railway enthusiasts will know that after British Railways was nationalised in 1948, there was a bit of a drive to what they called modernise. And although steam locomotives were still being built, really the railways looking to modernise with electric and diesel locomotives. And a certain Lieutenant Colonel Fell got in partnership with Davy Paxman and Shell to produce a locomotive which would be more powerful than your average diesel electric that have been found so far, because he had the theory, and I think it's since been scientifically proven, where you have a generator, diesel generator, producing electricity to go to separate motors on the axles, you lose a lot of power between the generator and the actual traction motor. Excuse me. So he figured that if you have an engine to drive each individual axle on an almost direct drive, you will get a lot more power out of the locomotive. And so in 1950, this most unusual looking locomotive, which you'll see soon, turned up on British Railways, known as the Fell Loco, and given the number 10,100. It had 6 engines. There were 2 auxiliaries to drive all the bits and pieces, electrics and all the rest of it, and I think it had an electrically heated boiler which produced steam for steam heating. Don't ask me how that was done, but yes, it was a steam heating boiler. So they must have heated it electrically, I'm guessing. But the difference was there were 4 separate engines, and each one was separately connected to a single gear shaft, or gearbox as probably would be better called. And the unique thing about this locomotive was that the link between the motors and the gearbox were hydraulics. So the way the power was applied and balanced was simply, and I'm not technically minded here, but as I've read and understood it, the hydraulics refer to the hydraulic oil which would link the engine to the gearbox and ensure either the engine was engaged, or if you emptied the vacuum, if you like, there was no power going to the gearbox. And so you could have either one or all 4 or a combination, and that would ensure that there was enough torque even at smooth and slow speeds. For its time, it was the most powerful locomotive on British Railways, although Fell later went on to develop a more powerful one that actually didn't get off the drawing board. It had mixed fortunes because although generally reliable, and it powered express trains between Manchester and London, I mean it could make 87 miles an hour, which was quite something in those days, the complexities of it meant that maintenance was pretty hard. And in the end, one evening at Manchester Central in 1958, I think it was, the steam heating boiler caught fire, and so the locomotive was sent down to Derby, and it was decided it wouldn't be repaired. So over the next couple of years it was stripped of anything useful for spares and was scrapped. So here we are, and I have a KR Models fell locomotive which I'm about to unbox. It's a bespoke model, meaning we had to subscribe in order to get it built, but it's certainly worth paying the money. And it wasn't that much more expensive. Actually, it was for a DCC sound model, it was actually cheaper than some of the new Bachmann ready-made ones, if you know what I mean, mass-produced. So I've got absolutely no complaints there. So without further ado, let's open the box and see what we've got. So, having told you all about this locomotive, we better undo it and hope it doesn't fall out the box. And as with all locomotives now, packaging is second to none. Look at that. And you get a bit of information about the locomotive here. This nice informative leaflet, which is a nice touch. The model, by the way, is by KR Models. They bespoke model railways, really, I suppose you could call it. But this has got to be one of the most unusual locos that's ever run on the railways, to be honest with you. And nice little touch. If I can get it in front of the camera lens, there it is. Get a little pin badge, you know, well, not a pin, but one of those things that I don't like because they always fall off, so I shall never use it. But the bag full of all sorts of bits and pieces there that you add on, brake pipes and what have you, if you want to put on all the bells and whistles. But the main, making so hard to get into nowadays. Now, which way do we get and open this? That comes up there, that comes up there. We take away this, although I prefer to leave it in there as it is, and then when I put the loco back, it'll go in nice and tidy, won't it? Here, and I'm getting behind the camera now to do this, is the locomotive itself. I didn't buy it in BR green because it didn't really suit it very much as far as I'm concerned. This is how it came in its original form as British Railways 10,100. As I say, it's the most odd looking locomotive, and yet in its day was probably the most powerful diesel loco that had run on the railways anywhere in the UK. So let me get it on the track and we'll put it through its paces. You can hear all 6 engines starting here. You have the 2 auxiliaries, now the 4 mains. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Took it over nicely. I made that last whistle. It's a bit cranky, but I think once I get this complete oval of track up and running, we'll be fine. But there you are, one of the most unusual locomotives ever to run on British railways, the Fell Loco. Not exactly a professional video, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and as the layout begins to progress, the scenery should improve when I do these unboxings. So I've got something else coming this week, which we'll take a look at for the next video, hopefully. So see you then. In the meantime, don't forget my normal videos come out once a fortnight, and these will be slipped in between as time and occasion allows. So cheerio for now.